Uh, Happy Two Piano Tuesday.
Happy Two Piano Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to our special mini-series, Backstage at Cliburn 2022. This is episode 3 of our 5-episode mini-series. We're so thrilled to have all of you join us. We're seeing people tuning in from all over the world. It's really exciting to, have Hawaii in the mix. Yes, Ukraine, Korea. It's just San Francisco. It's just wonderful to be congregating with our fellow pianophiles for this very piano-centric celebration. Memphis, amazing. Mexico City, fantastic. This is the whole purpose of Two Piano Tuesday, is that we can get together virtually.
Exactly. Well, it's been a busy few weeks for the two of us, but where have we been, Liz? Wisconsin, Minnesota, San Francisco, on tour ourselves.
Yeah, we've been performing, and that's our real job. And it's been a whirlwind, lots of traveling, a lot of rehearsing and performing, but our audiences have been fantastic. And we're just so thrilled that we get to do what we love. But we are also ready to get back into our hosting seats right now.
Exactly. I remember last week I said, or 2 weeks ago, I said that was my favorite episode. Well, currently I think this is going to be my favorite episode. I am really thrilled for this episode devoted to the third place winner of the 2022 Cliburn competition, Dmytro Choni. He was 28 years old at the time, and he was representing Ukraine. And in honor of his episode, when I think of Dmytro's performances and playing, I just think of his, there's a polish and there's like a fragrance to everything he does, which makes me think of a martini.
Yes.
So I prepared a gin martini for today's episode, and we learned in interviewing him just a couple days ago in a post-competition interview that he's a big fan of the James Bond series, so it's even more of a perfect drink for today's episode.
Yes. So he has a suavity on stage and off. So cheers to Dmytro. We hope you're tuning in. I believe he's back in Austria. Yes. He also has been touring, but we'll catch up with him in this sort of more recent fashion at the end of our episode. But we're excited to jump in to do a retrospective of Dmytro's journey throughout the Cliburn last summer. And it's clear that he made a mark on the jury and the audiences. He clearly, prevailed, getting the bronze medal, and that is a huge feat, but also a huge feat considering everything that he was going through. I mean, it doesn't take, a rocket scientist to fathom that he was just enduring unbelievable stressors. So we're going to kind of look into that.
That's right. So we'll begin the vignette about Dmytro Choni.
You are a seasoned competition veteran. You've just had so many successes. How does the Cliburn feel different or similar to you, to some of your past experiences?
I think that Cliburn has the biggest program I've ever prepared for a competition. It's huge.
Much music.
That's right. It's about 4 hours of music. And well, I would say I tried to put all my experience that I gained in the past years. I've played these two concertos quite a lot of times with orchestra, which I think is very important for a competition. We have quite special circumstances here anyway. We get to rehearse really I don't know, not so much time with an orchestra, and it's one concerto right after another one. So, you get to play the pieces which you know very well.
Oops. Just gonna pause really quickly to mention, Dmytro's strategy here to be ultra prepared really helped him pay off. He had this level of poise and calmness that I don't think he could have had he not been so prepared and selected pieces he was really comfortable playing. And this performance right here of the Debussy Sarcasms absolutely shows his ability to just remain in this heightened yet calm state. And I'm gonna share the link so you can watch the complete performance of the Sarcasms on your own time. But I love him for entering the competition in this prepared state.
Well, as you were saying, he is a competition veteran, so he was able to approach this performance in particular with utmost conviction.
Absolutely.
Well, how did you pick these pieces?
Well, I chose these pieces just because at first I love to play them. I would say I'm more into romantic and 20th century music, so that's why I chose the pieces which I feel most comfortable playing. Every solo round I had a big sonata. So for the first round Rachmaninoff, for the second Liszt, and for the third Hinastera. I just tried to combine all these sonatas with other pieces to include different genres, different type of music into one program. So I decided to play Schumann to have a little bit of contrast. These are very fun two piece, very contrast piece. And then I'll have Sarcasms by Prokofiev. Then as a contrast, two pieces by Debussy.
Listen here in the Debussy to his precision, his ability to place every note perfectly, and then the command of his voicings. Every single chord is cared for. This is what makes me feel like having a gin martini.
With that luminous tone.
So gorgeous. He's like a surgeon under high stakes conditions.
It's a marathon.
Oh.
And it's going to be even harder in the next round. And I just try to prepare everything accordingly.
So yeah, that was very smart.
During the last month, some solo recitals and so I was able to play all my program on stage, and so I don't know. I hope it goes well. I tried to prepare everything.
My routine was quite similar to every day, so I sleep quite a lot, and then I have breakfast and I play the program through. That's it. Drank a few cups of coffee.
Good. Well, you need caffeine to get through this experience.
In the beginning, the piano felt quite different from what I expected because I tried it about 3 days ago, and the piano which I has at the host family home is quite different from what it is on stage. So I was kind of adjusting to the piano a little bit, but in the end, I felt comfortable. I felt very confident and happy to play this repertoire. I was just into the music and was so happy to share it with the audience. I think it's just about the feeling, how I feel on stage, how I feel inside. So, and that's how I produce the music.
So I included the end, yes, of the Dante Sonata just because traditionally I'm not a fan of Liszt's like conclusion to this piece, but after Dmytro played it in the competition, I can't imagine it done any other way. It's cataclysmic.
You know, that example of his playing reminds me of one of his strengths. He's able to be virtuosic, but he never loses the musical line. There's always this sense of expressivity and lyricism, so it never is kind of flashy for the sake of being flashy or just like, look at my chops. We talked about his sort of suave demeanor or something. It almost kind of folds into what he plays, like there's always a kind of elegance. Even when there's power, it's like it's never forced and like aggressive or excessive.
Oh, it's so incredible. And you mentioned his long lines. We're gonna see that throughout this episode. He can just carry such a clear line pianistically for over a huge duration of time, and that's just sometimes it's very hard as pianists to pull off. We're right now about to watch Dmytro he walked off stage between many of the pieces in the program. We're just going to press play between many of the pieces on the program to kind of collect himself, to regain his composure. And it was a longer break than most of the other competitors maybe took. But I think it's worth showing just because I think it paid off for him. He was just going through so much, and we didn't really talk to him about many of the issues besides playing the piano because we wanted to be respectful and let him have his piece and just focus on the competition. But the war was going on. He had family in Ukraine, and I don't know how I would have dealt with that myself.
Yeah, I mean, immense pressure because obviously being at the Cliburn is one of the most stressful situations to put yourself into if you're an aspiring pianist, but then to have this huge event, this geopolitical crisis that is personally affecting, your family and yourself. I mean, you can see that on stage he has so much composure. In his post-performance interviews, he speaks with, he's very positive and very put together, but he was grappling a lot. And, just keep in mind also, this gives you such an inside backstage look at what it's like at the competition. This is the semifinal recital round at Bass Hall. You have this cavernous backstage and the whole audience is waiting for your next move. So
They are, well, and I mean, there's also like, 10 cameras on him at any given point of the day.
But he had blinders on, right? He was like getting inside himself and going into the zone.
And then he's I take all the time you need if you're going to give us performances like this. And I love, in this particular instance, he's about to perform the Hina-Stera Sonata, and we're actually going to watch clips from all 4 movements. But I liked having this space to clear my head between pieces. And then when a piece like the Hina-Stera Sonata begins after this long pause, it's almost like extra riveting. It's like a bigger slap in the face to the audience, like an exciting, wonderful slap in the face.
Mm-hmm. Electrifying.
Yeah, let's watch.
Very much looking forward to it, to everything, and also in particular the Hina-Stera Sonata. It's exciting music. It's a brilliant piece, I would say. Probably one of the best of piano pieces of Hina-Stera, I would say, in my opinion. But so it's just a wonderful work. I love playing it, so looking forward.
Had the music in his bones, like the colors he gets here. Every note is shaped all like crazy.
Crystalline too.
Yeah. This is the 3rd movement. So emotional. I have chills right now just watching this, and you can see his eyes are wet. Like, it's so emotional. Again, it's
pouring
worth
his soul into the performance.
It's worth watching the entire Hina-Stera Sonata when you get a chance. And this is the last movement, which we're gonna play in its entirety. It's fairly short, but it's wow. It's so many notes, but he shapes them all, he makes sense of them all, feel the rhythms. And then what his hands are doing throughout the duration of this is a lot like playing Der Elkönig. It's just all wrist action, and it's like he has the endurance for it.
But always with clarity.
Always.
That was the end of his semifinal program. So you can only imagine how much energy. I mean, maybe he was just riding this wave of adrenaline, because that was fantastic.
I mean, it sounded like demons. It was on fire.
And you know, the other thing that I forgot to mention watching his break in between the pieces right before the Hinastera is it's much like, you know, a world-class athlete. I thought about someone like Rafael Nadal, you know, like before he serves, you know, like sometimes athletes that kind of have, I don't know whether it's like just something to kind of get them settled into the zone, or it's superstitious, or it's just like they need to get a breather, you know, it's like they'll like bounce the ball several times and then they'll like fix their shirt, you know, it's like, but they tend to kind of do that habitually. It is almost, he almost kind of reminds me of like a veteran athlete who's sort of like, you know, he's done these competitions before. He knows where, you know, he needs to gather himself and to really get himself prepared to do his best. And clearly that's what happened with the Hinastera. I mean, he was in the zone.
Absolutely. And then, you know, he would walk off stage after a moment like that and talk to us. Let's continue watching. This is a segment on his post-performance thoughts.
How are you feeling having stepped off the stage?
It was great. I feel great. Oh, I feel very good, released. It was such a pleasure playing with the maestro, with the orchestra. Thank you. I'm glad to hear. It was, I have to say, it was not easy to play. So, well.
Heard you made a phone call right after you performed. Are you willing to reveal who you called?
Oh, it's not a secret. It was my girlfriend.
How do you decompress after a situation like this? Because of course there's a lot of stress and intensity to perform. Are you going to take any time to relax, or is it kind of, you know, all guns blazing to the next round?
No, I will have some rest surely, and probably practice a bit just in case, you know. And no, nothing special. Oh, I don't know, just get some rest, not something special.
Okay. How have you been decompressing when you're away from the piano?
Nothing special. I just sometimes I sit outside in the garden. Yeah.
100-degree Fahrenheit weather.
Well, I'm okay, you know. I like that.
Really?
Yeah,
Nice.
I can see like for half an hour there, and there is.
Do you have a good drink, like a cold beverage at least?
No,
Oh, wow.
just maybe some water, but
Oh,
not
good.
necessarily. I just sit
Okay.
there and
That's
chill,
nice, yeah.
and there is beautiful, very old trees around the some squirrels, and it's very nice.
Nature.
Yeah. I'm exhausted too. Actually, I felt quite good on Mozart, but now I'm getting tired.
It's also like you have a lot of adrenaline, and then when you're off, so you're like,
Well,
you know, they
but
don't
adrenaline
realize
only
how
lasts
tired.
so long.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to run on like 2 weeks of adrenaline.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a third week.
So sit
hopefully.
outside and
Yeah,
watch
let's
the
see.
squirrels and just chill out.
I don't watch them; they just come by. They're quite fat and they jump. And they jump really far.
They're athletic squirrels. Yeah.
I don't know.
Maybe they
fat
have-
and athletic. Is
maybe-
it possible?
That's true. It's sort of like it doesn't work together, but maybe there's a squirrel competition happening in your backyard.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pause just a second because I like some of the comments coming in.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show one of them. He's probably the only competitor that looks the same before and after a performance. Each competitor was different, but there is an element of truth to that. But I want to stress, there's a difference between just being really prepared and controlled and uninspired, and being really prepared and controlled so that you can be inspired. And I think that is what Dmytro was. He used this ability that he has to relax himself and to focus to his advantage, so that he could sit there and play with all the colors of the piano throughout his performances and hit these deep emotional states.
Yeah, it struck me there, and then in talking to him recently, that he has a maturity. Like he knows himself and he knows the situation, and then he plans accordingly. And that's really important, even off the competition stage. When you're having a touring life, you have to kind of know your limits and know your strengths as well, and then tap into those.
Well, let's watch this bit about the Beethoven Piano Concerto No. 1, which happens to be the very final performance he gave during the competition.
And a highlight for us, for sure.
For sure. This is the tail end of the first movement, the tail end of the cadenza, and it's another example of his carefully calibrated lines and retards and diminuendos all paying off for this climactic moment.
Yeah, don't you kind of hold your breath?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful.
So I like holidays on the seaside. Yes, just to lie down on the beach. But I don't have enough time for that.
Now that you have some distance on the Cliburn competition, what were some of the highlights?
Well, the competition was one big highlight. Maybe playing the last notes of both final concertos, or maybe even the Beethovens, because I played the Beethoven last. I just felt like, oh my God, that's over. I'm so happy about it. Because there was so much tension, there was so much work, and it was such a marathon.
So it's worth watching Marin at the end of this because it's a really special moment. And the audience reaction, the audience support for Dmytro is a testimony to their love for him.
He stole hearts in Fort Worth and all around the globe. And you know, I was reviewing his competition bio, and one line stood out to me. It says, he now comes to Fort Worth calling the Cliburn, quote, nothing else but my dream. And I think that is also why he was able to play with such confidence and such enjoyment. I mean, imagine if you're this aspiring pianist who's always, you know, imagine going to the Cliburn and then you're on the final stage. You have Marin Alsop conducting this great orchestra behind you in glorious bass hall. I mean, that's a dream. That's like, you know, and I think he's fully present with the privilege of that. And, you know, he took advantage of the stage and this opportunity, and he benefited enormously because he was playing with love. And I think that dealing with all the things that he was kind of had to filter out, you know, I think the music probably brought him a sense of just gratitude and just an appreciation for just being in the moment. So we enjoyed hearing him play, and we also enjoyed catching up with him.
Yes, that was beautifully worded. Yes, we just a couple days ago spoke with Dmytro. We asked him a few questions that have been submitted by you, our fans. We encourage you to do the same thing for our guest next week, Anna Ganushina. But
the silver medalist.
The silver medalist. But now we're going to watch a follow-up interview. I think it's revealing and quite interesting, and it was refreshing to be able to talk to him outside of the pressures of the competition environment. So here is it's like 15-minute interview with Dmytro.
Dmytro, it's so exciting to talk to you away from the pressures of the Cliburn competition, backstage immediately after you performed your rounds. Just to start off, where are we finding you in the world right now?
Yeah, hi, nice to see you again. Thanks for having me. I'm right now in Huntsville, Alabama, and so I've been on tour in the States for 2.5 weeks. On this tour, I visited Washington State, South Carolina, Arkansas, Texas in Fort Worth. What else? Colorado, and now Alabama. Yeah, I think that's it for this tour.
That's a good variety.
Yes, but in general, I'm discovering new places, exploring the country, which is very nice because all parts of the United States is different to my taste, and people are a little different. So quite a nice cultural experience.
We're always curious because we're on the road so often, but how have you adjusted to the non-musical things like the food?
I experienced some troubles finding some healthy food in the US sometimes. I'm getting used to some things, such as regular coffee, for example, because I do drink cappuccino or latte, and regular coffee is not quite a coffee for me.
We have a few questions from fans and social media followers. Kekasparas 2 writes, how has your life changed since winning a prize in the Cliburn competition?
I got many more opportunities to perform on stage, to travel, to play with different orchestra in different places, which makes me happy. So one could say that my life became even more fulfilling than before, and I'm sort of living my dream, which of course has its difficulties, but I'm doing what I want to do and what was hoping to do for quite a long time. So yeah.
That's beautiful. That's the whole point, right,
Yeah.
of doing these competitions, is that
Yeah.
hopefully you can achieve a life of your imagining. In our field, that is to perform and share music with audiences all over the world, and you deserve it.
Along those lines, what would you say some of the highlights of the past year since winning have been for you?
So I just played in Fort Worth about week ago or something in the Bass Hall. There was a celebration of Bass Hall 25th anniversary, and I had so many different emotions coming back. There was, of course, a happy moment, and it was exciting to be back on this stage. But of course, there was so many memories from the competition and this tension, this anxiety, which was following me during the competition. So it was quite a special experience.
What are some of the challenges you faced since winning a prize at the competition?
So, well, one challenge is, of course, about traveling and being away from home even more than usual. Another challenge is to learn all the repertoire I have to learn.
What have you been learning?
Well, a lot of pieces, of course, new solo pieces I'm including in my program for this season and for the next season, and a lot of chamber music. It turned out that I got invited for many different performances, and it's like this year I have, I don't know, 8 or 9 different chamber music programs, which is quite a lot. And let's say I played only half of it, or maybe it's like 30%. So I need to learn all this. And
The
another
piano
challenge.
has all the notes. too.
Yeah.
Well, I'm trying to manage, and of course, another challenge is playing different piano concertos at the same time, because every orchestra wants a different concerto. Of course, I'm trying to reduce them as much as possible, but it's not easy at all too. But there is some very exciting moment. For example, in December, I'm going to play Brahms 1 for the very first time.
Yes. Yeah.
It's such a lovely piece, and I can't wait to play it on one hand, and on another hand, I can't find time to learn it. So let's hope it's gonna be okay.
I mean, were notable among the competitors at the competition for being one of the most relaxed, focused, and prepared.
You think so?
Always like you just
Poised.
Yeah. Would you say that preparing for the repertoire this year feels more overwhelming than what you did at the competition, or about the same?
It feels different. So it is different because at the competition I had to I could plan my program well in advance. Almost all repertoire it was free of choice.
Yeah.
So I could plan it well in advance. I tried to reduce all other performances with different pieces. So I was trying just to focus on this huge program for the competition. And now it's different because every concert is important, and I'm trying to give my best at every concert, because there is not such thing as a non-important concert. It's just many different things I have to learn at once, or next month, or in the summer, and etc. And the planning has gone already for the next almost 2 years, which is not easy. But I'm trying to be very careful, trying to know my limits and where to say no, which I do very rarely, but only when I have to. If I know that I'm not going to do that and it's not going to be on the level I want it to be, so I'm trying to, to stay on a high level, on high quality level of performances, even though I'm very busy. So it's just very different.
A fan from Vermont asks, how have you been affected by the war in Ukraine?
as many of us, it's dramatically changed our lives, because this is a real tragedy which you experience, and we still experience it. And it's painful, and although I don't live in Ukraine right now, and I haven't been living there for the last almost 8 years, but my family is still there, and many friends, and of course I cannot stay indifferent to the war. And I don't know, I'm just trying to do what I can to support the people I love.
We never wanted to bring it up during the competition. You, again, you were one of the most prepared and focused and composed competitors. Did you, like, during the competition, did you feel like you were really able to focus on the competition, or was there a part of you that kept wanting to read the news or receive updates on what was happening? Like, did you feel like you were able to really get in a clear headspace during the competition?
No, looking back, I can say that well, the war and what was happening at that time definitely disturbed me, and I might have done better without it, because it was just impossible to nation. Because, as I said, my parents live there, and many of my friends and relatives. So I tried to stay focused on the competition, on the pieces I was playing, but and I hope I succeeded, but of course until a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, can we just personally say how courageous you were and you are, and just in awe? We're totally in awe of your command on stage, because already the Cliburn competition is a pressure cooker environment, but then you add the war on top of it, and we can't even fathom what that is like psychologically and emotionally. So you did an incredible job. So I hope you know that, and you really touched a lot of hearts. Not only in Fort Worth, but all the viewers watching.
Yeah. You have this fantastic ability to place every note so perfectly. And like, I think about myself, and like when I'm anxious, I start to lose that. You know, there's like a shake or a second guess that goes on, and I lose that like precision. And that to me is like, I saw you
It's a gift.
Backstage, calm and collected, but on stage to be able to do that throughout the performances, it still blows my mind.
Oh, well, I don't feel the same. I have the same second thoughts and hands trembling. It's all accompanies me on stage. So I have the same issues, and every time I'm going on stage, I'm nervous. But I think if it's more or less in control, it just helps. This anxiety helps the to let your emotions get free and get even bigger than usual. So which would probably help the music. So one should just know how to handle these emotions, and to find this right balance. That's what I'm trying to do.
Wow. Well, keep
Well,
doing what you're
really,
doing.
congratulations. We have a fan from Oklahoma who asks, what are your favorite hobbies?
I like watching soccer.
Favorite team? Do you have a favorite team?
Well, if you want to get into it, we could. But I do like teams which are led by Pep Guardiola, famous coach. So he was previously coaching Barcelona, then Bayern Munich, and now he's a coach of Manchester City. So I'm following this teams, but not only, of course, the Dynamo Kyiv from my native city as well, but I don't think they've been doing great lately. So
Hometown pride. It's like I root for the Chicago Cubs, and it's been a while.
Of course, some movies. I do like movies.
What types of movies?
Yeah.
I like movies by Christopher Nolan. Is it right? The director.
Inception.
Yes.
Memento.
Yes, you know, he's a master. I love it. And I don't know, I like Lord of the Rings.
Me
Oh,
too.
Yes.
I love Lord of the
Yes,
Rings.
yeah.
We watched the like extended versions of the
Several
trilogy.
times.
oh, yes, same here. Same, because it's
You-
so much better.
You
Yeah.
need to play in New Zealand because then you can visit
Yeah.
Hobbiton.
We
which
did a
is
10-city
incredible.
tour there, and we
Oh,
just,
wow.
it was like our whole Lord of the Rings.
Fantasy
like,
come to life.
Yeah.
Is it like the same as in the movie?
Mostly, I mean, the Hobbiton is the exact set. You can
Oh,
walk through it. The Rohan, like you just drive through it.
Yeah. We had the Lord of the Rings soundtrack playing on in the car.
Oh,
So we were like,
wonderful.
yeah. So
I
anyway,
would love to, definitely. This is one of the, yeah, New Zealand and also Australia. I've never been in this part of the world, so this is definitely a highlight too.
all right, let's put
Looking
it out
forward to.
there. Presenters invite Dmytro.
Yeah.
So yeah, and also I could mention Star Wars and James Bond movies. So I mean, all these classics.
We're like movie,
Movie
kindred
kid,
spirits.
yeah.
Yeah. You like all this?
Movie club or something.
I was like, this has Star Wars artifacts all around her house.
Actually, like I think you once like did all the James Bond. You went back and
Oh, yeah, I watched
like, on
all of them
tour,
in a row,
you downloaded
yeah.
them on your iPad.
Yeah.
So
I did the same. You can't believe I did it even twice. I mean, not
Guys, I've been doing it the second time.
Wait, another question is, how do you feel in terms of your competition prospects? Are you done? Is this sort of, because Cliburn is one of the ultimate competition stages. So do you feel like, you know, you want to say bye to that world, or are you still considering them in the future?
I think I'm quite done
Mhm.
because there is not many things you can do after winning a prize at the Cliburn competition. Well, I don't know how the life will turn out to be, but for now, I'm not considering entering another competition.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's
Enjoy
gonna be
it.
yeah, that's good. I mean, that's a life event.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
wow, this is definitely
That
something to
phase
celebrate.
It's over. Yes.
All right.
He's such a charming young
I
man.
know. It makes me so happy watching him, especially just talking about the movies and like being out of the competition environment and seeing he's a human being who's
He is.
we watch him and he's like God on stage, but
And he seems to be fully appreciating the opportunities he's gotten after the Cliburn. And so we wish him the most flourishing, satisfying career. And coincidentally, you and I, Greg, are playing in Austria, where he lives, actually. And we're just going to miss each other because he's going to be in your home state of Minnesota.
I know.
Ships crossing. But it was just such a pleasure to get to know him and to watch him play. All right, before we close out this episode, we have a special featurette about one of the most important and perhaps one of our favorite elements of the Cliburn competition, and that is the Mozart concerto round. This happens during the semifinal round. All 12 semifinalists have to play a Mozart concerto of their choosing from a list. And incidentally, so many people chose K466 D minor.
6 of them. 6 of
And
12.
yes, and then they had the opportunity to play it with the Fort Worth Symphony Orchestra under the direction of Maestro Nicholas McGeegan,
Who we actually just saw at our concert in San Francisco 2 days
on
ago.
Saturday.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
I have a
Herbst
picture.
Theater.
I'm gonna share it. That's
us.
us and Nick McGeegan just a couple days ago. He
He
is
is
a delight.
splendid. Yes.
Splendid is the word, and you'll hear. I wish we interviewed him because
I
he's such a
know.
charmer. But you will hear some of the competitors talk about their affection for him. So,
All right, let's
shall
jump
we
into
begin?
it.
Here we go at the Mozart Concerto Round vignette, which begins with our beloved Dmytro.
What do you find more challenging, playing a Mozart concerto like you just did, or the Prokofiev Third Piano Concerto with orchestra? They're very different experiences.
I would say it's a different experience, but maybe challenging for me would be Mozart.
Mozart is so hard.
It's like a challenge for everybody, I think.
It's very much a test.
Tomorrow, Mozart concerto is waiting for me. Because you can play Prokofiev, you can play whatever you want, you can play Brahms, but Mozart is what is waiting for you in the bushes.
Yeah, Mozart might be maybe the most intimidating, right?
Yeah.
For Mozart, it seems that there's less notes, but the thing is that, I mean, for pianists, less notes is harder. Yes,
So
so
difficult. You can't hide.
yes, that
Once you're on stage, it's just so hard. It's so hard to control and listen to all the other instruments in the orchestra and then make good harmony, you know, and then like timings. Yeah, you can't rush and you can slow down, you know, and you have to see the wind players like together and you have to make good harmony with the dialogue and then with the strings too. So what's going on? And then finish. Yeah.
ちょっとオーケストラとの齟齬がいくつかあって、ちょっとアンサンブルへのこう気持ちがちょっとかけて自分が気持ちよく弾きすぎちゃった部分があったのでちょっと反省してます。
Comment vous êtes-vous senti sur scène ce soir?
Alors, je me suis senti bien, mais bien sûr qu'il y a toujours des choses que, par exemple, on n'est pas toujours vraiment avec l'orchestre, des choses comme ça. Parce que puisque c'est Mozart et le concerto, on peut pas tout contrôler tout seul. Alors du coup, ben, il faut un peu il faut essayer en tout cas de se relâcher. Et voilà.
You know, this is my first time ever playing a Mozart concerto in my life. Yeah, so I've never played a Mozart. I had to pick it up, you know, maybe a month and a half ago. So I'm really excited to kind of see what this new composer kind of offers.
That's fun and maybe a little scary.
I'm leaving out the terrifying part, but yeah, fun and terrifying. Yeah.
I usually prefer romantic composure or contemporary music. I felt always it's not my stuff. That's why I.
Really? You played Mozart so beautifully. But 5 years ago, you played the Mozart number 23, is that correct? And this year you did the number 20.
That was exactly first time to play with orchestra. So it was kind of, so I took too much risk. So this time, so D minor concerto I used to play. So I'm experienced.
It's like, I remember this time when I played at 13, so
At this point in the competition, it's probably good to have pieces that are really in your bones.
Even the last competition that we witnessed, the Mozart concerto was very revealing. Yeah. So it's just like
was there Mozart concerto last time?
Mm-hmm.
And
yeah.
It's hard. It's hard.
I know. I mean, I was worried about this too. So no.
You did not fall apart. So
yeah. I know, but it's very tricky.
More than that.
I know. You know.
Yeah, but it's tricky. I know.
Can you talk about your cadenzas? Because they weren't Beethoven's.
Oh yeah, that was not Beethoven's. Absolutely, that was mine. Yeah. It was really difficult. You know, I realized that Mozart was really genius. Yeah.
All of us were in wonderment because we were like, who wrote these? It sounds so stylistic and so beautiful and elegant, and it felt so seamless with the concerto. So bravo, and you should feel proud that you displayed that side of your personality.
It was really hard to squeeze, take out the unnecessary pieces and then
edit.
Yeah,
yes.
It was really difficult. But you understand that. Yeah,
It can take
more time than people realize to get it just right. And then there's this feeling that it's never done.
Like it's just same as me.
He was very charming on the stage, and then whenever he has his own favorite spots, he smiles, I think, and then he's looking at the soloist, and then we had eye contact sometimes, and then we were like, got it, yeah.
The maestro has been a great time. He's so fun to work with, and he adds jokes in there, time to time. I know, like the ending, in rehearsal, the ending of the first movement, it's like yada ba ba bum, da da ba ba bum 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 bum, and he goes, "Hey!" Just like.
We love Mozart.
Yes, we do. And you just saw Yunchun there. We're going to be presenting his episode on May 9th. But next week, we're going to hear from Anna Genyushina, the second place, the silver medalist from the 2022 Cliburn competition. If you have questions, we've seen you adding them here to today's live stream. We'll collect all of those. But we'll be posting something either tonight or tomorrow morning, soliciting questions from all of you. Please submit them. We're planning to interview her on Friday morning, at least for us, probably evening for her.
Right, Friday morning US time. And so if you have questions, follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Our handle is @AndersonRowe. We are going to probably do a post on our main feed, but then also I'll do a story with a little private box if you just want to anonymously put in your comments that way. And, it's such a privilege to get to talk to these amazing young artists. So this is your chance to kind of get your burning questions answered.
Your Cliburning questions.
Cliburning questions, that's right. But Anna Genyushina was one of the most triumphant stories from the competition. So you won't want to miss our episode next week.
It'll be a good one.
May 2nd at 8 p.m. Eastern time in the United States. Just check whatever your requisite times, wherever you're tuning in around the world. But thank you so much for joining us again. This has been, again, like such a pleasure. It just feels so, uplifting to review these dynamic experiences and performances. And it's just all the more a joy to share it with all of you.
And please do share with your friends on social media. The links, you can share the past live streams. The first episode, the second episode, third episode are all at this point cataloged. You can share those and invite them to watch the subsequent episodes. They'll be really fun. We're really looking forward to joining you for them. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.
All right.